Hi, everybody. It's 8:30. You know, when I become rich and famous, we won't be doing this on time. If you ever go to a concert, you know, they start hour later, but we're on time today. So this is very important because my road to health brought me to where I am today. In order to get on a road to health, you have to be unhealthy. And I had a lot of problems growing up as far as health was concerned. I came from two generations of pharmacists. My father was a pharmacist. My grandfather was a pharmacist. So anytime we had a symptom, it was treated with drugs and medication. Drugs were like candy to us. You know, as a child, if you told your parents, I'm hungry, what would they give us? Have a cookie until we have lunch or dinner, or have a piece of chocolate, Snickers, Hershey's, whatever, just to take care of your hunger pains until we were going to eat something. So growing up, I suffered from headaches, allergies, and on a good day, by the way, I don't have a teleprompter, so that's my teleprompter. So if I catch me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because there's a lot I want to cover and I don't want to miss anything. So on a good day, I was taking about 3 to 4 drugs a day by the time I was about 8 years old. Aspirin for headaches, nose drops because my nose was always stuffy, antihistamine when my stomach bothered me, Pepto-Bismol. Sometimes my eyes would itch or burn, Visine. And 3 to 4 times a year, I suffered from recurrent earaches, recurrent sore throats. I'd run a high fever. So it was on antibiotics. 3 to 4 times a year, I was on antibiotics. Also had bronchitis occasionally. So it was more antibiotics, it was more cough syrup. So on a bad day, and think about this, I was only 8 or 9, I was taking 6 to 7 drugs a day. By the time I was 12, I started having stomach problems, severe muscle cramping, pain, went to the pediatrician, who, by the way, we loved, recommended mineral oil to coat the lining of your digestive tract. Also sent me to a gastroenterologist. He did the GI series, and he put me on 2 drugs. Both were to decrease stomach secretion, decrease mobility in my intestinal tract. So the interesting thing is I'm obviously having problem digesting food. So what better way to help a patient digest food than to stop the digestive secretions which help to digest food? When I would get these severe stomach pains because I ate something that bothered me, I would hold my stomach and rock back and forth in pain, and then it was another drug, bismuth and paregoric. So again, on a bad day, I was taking 8 to 9 drugs a day. The drugs I was taking for my stomach would dry out my mouth, so no matter how much water I drank, it always felt like there was a desert in my mouth. And after a year, I really wasn't getting anywhere, so we saw another gastroenterologist who basically just gave different drugs. Then when I was 16, I sneezed and threw my back out. And no, this was 14. Sneezed and threw my back out. Went to the hospital where I was being seen by an orthopedic surgeon who recommended 2 more drugs. A muscle relaxant, anti-inflammatory. Back then they recommended Valium, which basically knocked me out for the whole day. And I'd be laid up in bed for 3 days with severe back pain. I'd then go to school and I'd drag my leg like I'm walking like the mummy because I had sciatic pain going down the leg. And it would take a month before that finally subsided. And my back would go out, as we would say back then, go out, causing severe back pain at least 3 or 4 times a year. When I was 16, my girlfriend's sister said, why don't you go see my chiropractor? Never heard of chiropractic, and went to see my first chiropractor for my back. and he gave me a talk about the spine, about the nerve. In the books it says nervous system. I don't like the word nervous, so I call it the nerve system. Explained that when vertebrae go out of alignment, they put pressure on your nerves, pressure on your joints, pressure on your discs, causing interference in your nerve system, which they called a subluxation. And he said these subluxations in my neck can be causing my allergies, my headaches, my sinus problems. Subluxations in my mid-back could be attributed to my stomach problems. And of course, subluxations in my low back could be causing my back pain. Well, I had been to 5 medical doctors, my pediatrician, 2 gastroenterologists, 2 orthopedic surgeons, and nobody mentioned that I'd have this pressure on these nerves, these subluxations, causing all of my symptoms. The back situation seemed to make sense to me, but everything else I thought was a lot of hooey. So anyway, I went to my chiropractor, Dr. Paul Schechter in Wantagh. God bless you, Dr. Schechter, if you're watching. Went to see my chiropractor, and within 3 months, all of my medication was in the garbage. I was 18, and at 18 in New York, we were able to drink. So went into the city with a group of friends to listen to a band, where I ordered a beer and Firehouse chili. Now, normally a beer and Firehouse chili would have put me in the bathroom for quite some time, suffering with stomach pains and cramps, and I was fine. I remember going home and saying to my parents, I know what I want to be. I want to be a chiropractor. Because 5 medical doctors did nothing but drug me up, but it didn't cure anything. And I want to state that thank God for medical doctors, because we do need medical doctors. But medical doctors treat our symptoms. They don't get our body healthy. And that's where chiropractors come in. That's where nutritionists come in, acupuncturists come in. We're there to get you healthy. I remember I went to a seminar, and the person who was leading the lecture, he was not a healthcare practitioner, found out I was a chiropractor, and he said to me, why are you chiropractors always so upbeat? And I said, well, very simple. And he said, and medical doctors usually aren't. And I said, well, medical doctors treat death and symptoms and disease, not something to really smile about. Where chiropractic, we treat health and life. And that is something to smile about. And that is something that keeps us going. So when I was in my 30s, I developed a cough that was so deep that if I held a drink in my hand, it would spill all over the place. And I couldn't talk more than 3 or 4 words without hacking. So I had to suck on Ricola drops just to talk to patients. I had tried chiropractic, acupuncture, nutrition, and although it helped a little, it really wasn't helping the situation. And this cough would last for 4 to 6 months. It would go away, and then something would trigger it, and it would come back again. And I dealt with this cough for 12 years. One year it was so bad, I went to see a medical doctor who put me on 5 different drugs. One of them was an inhaler, which caused my heart to beat out of my chest, caused my hands to shake. And after 4 days, I was 0% better. So I called up my medical doctor, and he said, stop taking the drugs. I said, they're already in the garbage. And then I got an email about this allergy treatment program, which was all natural. It was needleless, bloodless, painless, called AAT, Advanced Allergy Therapeutics. And I looked into it. And I went down to Florida for a number of days to be trained. And while I was there, I was hacking up. I would always say it was so deep, I'd hack up lung tissue. And I was coughing up. And they called me up to the front of the room to give me my first treatment. And they found I was highly allergic to dust and dust mites. After that first treatment, I noticed within less than 24 hours, my cough was like 85% better. And when we got back to my office in New York, did a number of treatments, and the cough was gone. The other thing, my brother had these gorgeous dogs, and we were down in Virginia visiting him. And I knew I was allergic to dogs, so I didn't go near the dogs, didn't pet the dogs, but I had a severe allergy attack and coughing, wheezing, to the point that I was close to saying to my parents were there, close to saying to my parents, I think I might need to go to the hospital. So I took an antihistamine. And when I got back to New York, I continued to take the antihistamine because it took a good 3 to 4 days to stop this allergic reaction. So I had this great allergy treatment, and we did the allergy treatment for dogs, for cats. And a couple of months later, I was going back down to Virginia to visit my brother and the dogs. And my father called me up and he said, why don't you start the antihistamine now prophylactically so you don't have that terrible allergic reaction? And I said, well, listen, I gave myself this treatment for allergies to dogs and cats. I have to see if it works, and I have to be able to tell my patients that, hey, this stuff really works. So this time when I went down to Virginia, I played with the dogs. My face was in their face. I was petting them and rolling with them, and I was fine. So it was pretty amazing. And since then, we've treated probably hundreds, if not thousands of patients for food sensitivities, allergies to dogs, cats, dust mite. I remember having one patient, and she was Italian. I say that for a reason, because she was allergic to dairy. She was allergic to tomatoes. She was allergic to wheat, or had sensitivities to these things. So she couldn't eat pizza, couldn't eat pasta, couldn't have marinara sauce. I know from being Jewish, you take away my pizza and I'm not a happy camper. We treated her for these food sensitivities, and she called me up and said she had a slice of pizza for the first time in over 20 years, and she was fine. So now we're moving forward. I have obviously getting healthier. And then in my 50s, I developed acid reflux. Now, back in the 80s, when I was a chiropractor, chiropractic would help me with the acid reflux. We'd remove those subluxations that go to the digestive tract, and the body would start to function better and heal. But this time, that was not happening, and Rolaids became my go-to. There were times in the middle of the night, I would feel that acid come up into my throat and literally run in the bathroom to spit it out, and then go to the medicine cabinet and chew on 1 or 2 Rolaids. All of a sudden, I got some information from a Dr. Freddie Ullin on NRT, nutrition response testing. And he was saying, are your patients holding their adjustments the way they used to? Are you clearing up their symptoms the way we did in the 80s? And what I found through this testing is we live in a more toxic environment today than we did back in the 70s or 80s. The foods that we eat today have been genetically modified. They don't have the same nutrients they had 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so I looked into this. And over the years, I took many courses to become certified in nutrition response testing. Had a lot of fun, learned a lot, studied with some tremendous colleagues, nurses, chiropractors, acupuncturists, people that were involved in the healing arts. And through this nutrition and helping to rebuild and repair my body, I didn't have acid reflux anymore. I haven't taken Rolaids in years. It's still in my medicine cabinet, kind of as a reminder to where I was and where I am today. But other things started happening in my body, things that I never really thought about. For instance, in my spice cabinet, I have to stand up on a chair to get to that top spice, the top things on the cabinet. I was 59. I go to step up on the chair, and all of a sudden I'm noticing I'm having hip and knee pain. I never had hip and knee pain before. I'm seeing my chiropractor, and because of the nutrition response testing, I don't need to see my chiropractor as often. I'm holding my adjustments better because my body is healing and has healed better. So I'm thinking, well, I'm 59. My father had hip replacements. Maybe down the road, I might be one of those candidates. But as I'm doing the nutrition and feeding my body the nutrients it needs, one day I go to step up on that ladder and I notice I don't have hip pain anymore. I don't have knee pain anymore. The inflammation that was causing these problems are gone. So today or this year I should say, I'm 61. And I have to tell you, I am healthier today than I was in those early years. Why? Because I don't take any drugs. I go to the cardiologist and the gastroenterologist for colonoscopy every 3 years because colon cancer runs in my family. Heart disease runs in my family. So I just go to get checked. And these doctors always ask, what medications are you on? And I tell them, not on any medications. You're 61 and you're not taking any drugs? Nope, I don't need to take any drugs. My body is pretty healthy. According to studies, people in their 60s are taking at least 5 different drugs a day, every single day. Now, sometimes we might need drugs because there are serious health issues going on, but these health issues, more times than not, can be helped through proper nutrition, through proper chiropractic. So I'm just looking at my notes. If you want any more information, you can always message me here on Facebook, or you can visit our website, Goldstein, that's GOLDSPINE, goldspinechiropractic.com. I want to thank you for watching, because I think a lot of the symptoms that I've been through, and it's kind of like God put me on a road to heal myself so I can help other patients to heal. So a lot of the symptoms that I mentioned, you probably are suffering from, and you probably don't know what to do about it. Maybe you're taking drugs that help to suppress those symptoms, but they're not healing your body. So if you're interested in actually healing your body and getting healthy, then you need to do something about it. So either find yourself a chiropractor, find yourself a nutrition response testing healthcare professional, because more than just chiropractors do nutrition response testing. So find somebody that can answer your questions, that can help your body heal. And I wish you all a great day. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate the time we spent together. And I will be seeing you soon. I'm going to be doing a number of these to shed some information on healing and how you can get healthy. So thanks again. I appreciate it.